Will the X-Men destroy the Subhuman? Is there going to be a death that they teased in the last issue? See what's going on. All this and more in the newest issue, the 42nd of Tommy Reed's X-Men. Let's get to it. Tommy Reed's X-Men. Tommy Reed's X-Men. It's cool. What's going on? It's your boy back at you again with another issue of Tommy Reed's X-Men. This time we're looking at X-Men number 42 from March 1968. Written by Roy Thomas once again, with art by Don Heck, and Warner Roth does the backup story. This one's called If I Should Die. So maybe somebody gonna be dead. Let's find out. So we kick it right off, kind of picking up where the last issue was. The X-Men were battling the Subhuman in a bunch of caves and stuff, like underground by the trains. That's where they found him. And Angel and Iceman go scrambling back to the mansion to tell Professor X because they had trouble getting a hold of him. Now, Jean, who's been scheming with Professor X, doing something, and they don't say what, it's real secretive. They're like, shh. Yeah, they're still looking at us. Anyway, that's whispering. And she's like, oh, you want to talk to the professor? Well, no. And then they're like, wait, what? What? And he's like, no, you can't talk to the professor. And he's like, why? Why don't you even care anymore? And Angel starts going off on Jean. Like, he's getting real pumped up. And in there, when she leaves, he admits to Iceman that he's out the game. Jean loves Scott. Scott loves Jean. And he doesn't understand why Jean's not trying to help out someone she supposedly loves. But we get to the professor who finally comes wheeling out. And he's like, Scott and Beast are over there? Nah, they got it. They don't even need y'all. They got it themselves. That's my A-team. You know, just kind of trash talking them, putting them in their place. Cut to Scott and Beast, who are in a fight with the Subhuman. They're doing okay, but like the Subhuman, like the fight ends when the Subhuman goes like, eh. And then he walks off like he's the Hulk or something. Like he just gets bored with the fight and he's like, all right, dude. Cut back to the mansion where all the X-Men are together again. And then they're like, you know, we gonna get some answers, Jean. Why can't we talk to the professor? And she's like, no. And so they try to get past her, so we get Jean versus the rest of the X-Men, and Jean put hands on them. Like, she's just like, boom, boom, and then they're like bouncing off the walls, getting knocked down and stuff like that. Where's the Subhuman, you ask? Good thing, because I'm about to tell you. The Subhuman goes back to the drill that he was trying to stop. Now, the Subhuman's whole deal, if you're not familiar, if you didn't watch last issue, which you really should, is that he was part of a race of people that lived underground, below the earth, like in a volcano or whatever, and he was a prince, and then the volcano erupted, his people came out, and by the elements, the air or whatever they weren't used to, they all got sick and died except for him. He got disfigured. Now, for some reason, they twisted that around in this issue. He hinted at it before, but like he's got a real thing against radiation, although radiation didn't play no part in that volcano erupting. He's trying to destroy this drill, which has nothing to do with... they're using radiation in the drill, granted. But, like, it had nothing to do with, like, his home or whatever. But, like, there's rumbles in the ground because of this drill that they call the oscillotron. And so now he's like, I'm gonna bust up this oscillotron. Or so we think. So he sees a scientist there by the oscillotron. He starts razzing him. And the scientist is like, ha! It's me, Professor Charles Xavier. Why did he need a costume? Why did he need a mask to play like he was somebody else? Subhuman don't know who you are, Papa Chuck. He don't know who you are. You could have been like, oh, that's a dude in a wheelchair or whatever. But mind you, he has this like little belt thing that makes him walk. Subhuman's plan is to hit the old reverse button on the oscillotron so that it'll destroy the Earth and not burrow into it. Now, Charles wants to stop him. Obviously, he don't want the Earth destroyed. So they're fighting the Subhuman, distracting him, while Papa Chuck's using his mental powers to slow down the drill. And he and the Subhuman are closest to the drill. The X-Men are like a step behind, but it goes blows up. If you can't tell by the So, the Subhuman dead. Now, the title, If I Should Die, could have just applied to him. But it's not. So, Charles is hurt bad. The X-Men, who are like one step behind him, unscathed, oddly enough. And so Charles, Cyclops is holding him. He's like, Papa Chuck, tell me what you need. Tell your boy Scott what you need. And he's like, oh, by the way, I was dying already. So this was about to happen, Dumbledore much. And so then, this is okay. This is what Professor Charles Xavier dead. End of main story. Let's get to the backup. Damn, I kind of hurt dropping on the floor like that. That wasn't a smart idea. The backup story, we continue on like we did last issue with the origin of Scott Summers, where he meets this dude, Jack O'Diamonds. This one's called The End or The Beginning, or The End, ellipsis, ... or The Beginning. So he is with Jack O'Diamonds, who uses a ray gun to turn himself into a living diamond. Charles and Scott team up for the first time, and literally, like, a few seconds after he meets him, he's like, I want to help you, son. And he's like, thank you. The Papa Chuck is like, shut up. Like, he silences him real quick. That's the first weird thing. That would have been a red flag if I was Scott. And so Scott, under Charles's direction, twists some knobs and buttons in this lab they're in, and then the same ray gun that turned Jack O'Diamonds into the living diamond turns him into a dead one, because he explodes. I'll do the explosion again one more time, because I know everybody's a fan for it. That was fun. Anyway, he explodes, and then instead of just being like, oh, everything's clear, go back to the orphanage, Charles just like, why don't you come live with me? Like, real creepy like that. Like, maybe it wasn't meant to be creepy, but I mean, it came off creepy. Not only that, that's red flag number 2. Now, strike 3 was that when he got there, he's like, yeah, I want you to be a superhero team. I'm going to call the Xmen. You're my first dude. And because of your eye, ideally, I'm going to call you Cyclops. How about that? I already got an outfit ready for you. It's your measurements. That's strike 3. That is red flag number 3. You're better off running to the orphanage or back on the freight train from whence you came. That was it for the backup story. Yeah, thankfully, I think it's over. Now let me hit you some final thoughts. All right, y'all. This one was about a 5 out of 10. And if you're wondering why, I'm about to tell you. Here we go. Both stories, I said this last week, it was last month issue. Both stories had lame villains. Like, I don't care about the subhuman. His reasons were all over the board. I mean, granted, everybody he knew died. Would that have to do with radiation? I don't know. When the regular-ass War of the Worlds air killed him, and sickness. And Jack O'Diamonds was the lamest villain I could possibly think of. And they were just boring. Like, Professor X and Jean with their secretiveness, like, obviously it's going to come out that Jean knew that he died, that he was sick and dying and stuff, but, like, they didn't resolve that, did they? No. I'm telling you. Just listen, dang. So, that was weird. They didn't resolve that, and then Charles just straight up died out of nowhere. He's like, oh, by the way, I'm not going to fall again. He's like, oh, by the way, I'm dying, and I'm dead. Charles died out of nowhere. Middle of the road issue. But next month, which for us is next week, they said next issue, Mags is back. That's right. Magneto back in the house. One of my favorites of all time, one of my favorite X-Men characters is back. Cannot wait. If you like what you're seeing or mildly entertained, please hit that like and subscribe button down at the bottom. Spread the word about Tommy Love Stuff channel, YouTube's best kept secret. Hit that bell notification in the corner. I don't know exactly where it's at. And like I said, if this is your first time watching, thank you for letting me entertain you for a little bit. If this is your 50th, 60th time watching, I appreciate you. Thank you and continue your support. We'll be back next week with the Magneto-eccentric issue. Still got the prop. Anyway, later.